getting someone to come over as a big boss man in the
If Keshi confirms that, then it's unfortunate, but I don't think he did that. I told you I had
one hour conversation with him. Did he say anything about staying, or is he going?
No, of course. Why should he go? I mean, we were talking about the future, and I just made myself some things abundantly clear to him, the direction that we are going, the direction of the board, our vision, how he can key into our vision, you know, and all those are things that we are doing, that we're taking this very, very seriously. For the first time, we want to get it right. You remember the last time I came here, I told you it's not about, I mean, Nigeria is not like to hear it, but it's not about winning laurels. It's not about building a sustainable football culture.
Well, that's NFF President Amaju Pinnick explaining situations around Super Eagles coach Stephen Keshi, Nigerian football, the future, the past, the present, a whole lot of things that he had to say while he was on Sunrise Daily earlier on this morning. But guys, let's look at this very quickly and say a few things about it. From the disposition and the body language of Amaju Pinnick, Keshi is keeping his job. And he says that they want to bring a lot of support structure. Tunde has always talked about support structure, people who can read games, people who can provide information on the opponent, scouts and all of that. They want to do that for Stephen Keshi. That looks like the option that the Amaju Pinnick-led NFF now want to take. But the most important question for us is this. Keshi also needs to show the hunger. Keshi has seen it all, won the Nations Cup. We were in this same situation when he came on board, came in, won the Nations Cup, and we've gone right back to where we were before Keshi came on board. But now that the NFF have decided that, look, this man is keeping his job, we also need to talk about how Keshi can get his groove back. For me, I think that's the wise thing to do. If the NFF are keeping to him, there's no point to insist on something else outside of what the NFF want to do. How does Keshi get his groove back? Yemi?
Well, the things you've said really are the things that should be done. Most times, the problem with us in Nigeria is that we think short term. We don't look at the big picture. Like Tunde said the other time, I mean, the world will not come to an end because we didn't qualify for the Nations Cup. And I don't see any reason why most of us should be bitter. But the point is, what are the things that we should be doing? And those are the things you've mentioned. You need to develop your league. That's first and foremost. But okay, let me restrict myself to what you should do for Keshi.
Short term.
Because short term.
Yeah, developing the league is not something that's going to take place. Yeah, we could be putting steps in place.
I think the things that we're missing when we play big teams, I've discovered that when we play big teams, it doesn't really show. But it's when we play the teams that we should beat, that's when you know Nigeria has a problem. And I think Keshi needs to broaden his scope of knowledge. That is pretty obvious with some of the last set of games we've played, aside getting in a very good backroom staff. Whether it's going to be picked by him or whether the NFF will suggest.
By backroom staff, you mean those who will read matches?
Scouts.
Because he already has assistant coaches, and he has...
there's a big question mark.
Goalkeeper trainer and all of that.
There's a big question mark on all those guys that work with the big boss, and it's time to say it. I don't have anything against some of them. You see, if you've tried something and you're not getting the results, it's time you change it. And I mean, we were having a proper discussion. We were talking about Holland. We were talking about some of those things. The top European teams, the things they do,
the quality of the backroom staff, and the number. Let me come to Tunde. You just talked about the backroom staff. But is what with these guys? These are the same set of guys that helped him win the Nations Cup, helped him second round of the World Cup. And there's one issue that is still unresolved. Keshi had a physical trainer in Silvanus Okpala that left the team and has not been replaced. That is also one of the issues. But outside of that, people have also complained about the quality, the technical support, the quality of technical support in terms of when a game is going on, when you are scouting your opponents. These are also issues that can be addressed under the new dispensation.
Firstly, let me congratulate Pinnick Amaju because he's a consummate diplomat. That is one thing for sure. He didn't get this far by offending the powers that be, and I want to congratulate him for the fact that he's managed to get this far. The truth is, Keshi is keeping his job not at their behest, and that the truth must be told. Even when South failed in 2012, his departure was swift, and that was after a long meeting by the NFF executive committee that took almost the entire day before they came out and told us that he was. The truth is, must be told, Keshi failed to qualify for the Nations Cup. It is not a disaster, but it is a failure. And a failure does not necessarily mean the end of the world. It is one thing for you to fail, it's another thing to also learn from your failure and also learn humility. Those are the questions that must be asked Stephen Keshi now. Has he learned humility? And has he learned from the failures of the past? The issues that led to this failure are very clear. The things that made him succeed, midway through his tenure, he suddenly abandoned them. Yeah. And that was why we had issues with players, with tactics. The truth must still be told. The Eagles are a very ponderous, very lethargic, non-explosive team. They build up from back in the midfield. It is wasteful, just to put it lightly. Then again, you come to the issue of the backroom staff. All over the world, to the best of my knowledge, it is a coach that picks his backroom staff. A coach will tell you, this is the list of the people that I want to work with. I want 4 position scouts. I want a tactical coach. I want a defense coach. I want match assessors. I need scouts. I need a sports science team. It is a coach that will tell you, these are the people that I want. It is not the place of the
choose.
Then we talk about Keshi himself. Let's be candid. Look at the English Premier League. You must have a minimum of a UEFA Pro license before you can coach any of the teams. Now we are talking about Keshi himself upgrading himself. Is he willing to do that? Because look at the World Cup. The teams are beating were coached by none other than Alejandro Sabella, who has one of the best coaching certificates in South America, and his counterpart Didier Deschamps in France.
We can argue
those backroom staff that we talked about.
We can argue about certification of coaches and all of that, and we can also look at results over a long period of time. That is subjective. We can argue about it. But what I'm talking about are short-term fixes.
There is no short-term fix.
No. There are short-term fixes. Long-term fixes are the leagues and other things. But I mean, the league has been the way it is when we were African champions. The league has been the way it is when we qualified for the second round of the World Cup. What were we doing that made us win? I mean, the experiment of Keshi in the first term, home-based players and all of that.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's the level of structure.
Yeah.
That we abandoned midway because maybe there are no funds to keep up the project. Those are the things I'm looking at, while also working on the capacity of these coaches and the program that Amadou Pinnick and the NFF have come up with to get people to understand how to read games and help the coach. Amadou Shaibu is now technical director, and he has a role to play. And if you're talking about a Nigerian coach with the experience and the ability to also bring something to the table in terms of a national team structure, not just for the Eagles, the Flying Eagles, I doubt if you find anybody with better qualification than Amadou Shaibu.
The problem with Nigeria is that there's no easy fix. For too long, we have been patching it as we've been going along. We've been just struggling along. This situation now deserves a long-term holistic view. This is beyond Keshi. This is beyond Amaju. This is beyond you and I. We are looking at the structure that will endure beyond all these people that have mentioned. And the only way, yes, the league is a very important part of it, but we also have to look at the way the national teams are also structured. The kind of backroom staff they have, the kind of coaching personnel they have, the kind of players that you call to come, and how you call it, and how you choose the players that you call to come. We've talked about how we've called players to come who are injured, players who hadn't played 5 matches for their clubs, coming into competitive games. How are these players chosen? So until these issues are, actively and properly dealt with, nothing will change. We'll always continue to struggle. This is nothing against Stephen Keshi. Nothing personal. I think, in fact, he's probably the best national team coach I've met. He's very charming, very personable, and he's always willing to share his ideas with you. But the truth is, I think somewhere along the line, the man lost his hunger. I think somewhere along, he lost his drive. Then he was fighting too many battles on too many fronts and got distracted from the job. So now you have to ask Keshi, do you still want to do this job? If you want to do this job, do we have a firm commitment from you that you are willing to do this job? Because as it seems now, the NFF, it seems as if they have a tenant at will, a tenant that they did not exactly want in their building.
Okay, let's leave it at that for now, and get some of your comments on Twitter. Alex Giovanni says, I don't believe